G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Fat Rod, aka Rodimus. It's been a while since I posted anything, and that's because we're waiting for the next map update before I can launch my next release. And the custom troops mod is also broken, so I can't do any troop testing at the moment. So what I've got instead is a development update. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and we've got three big things to talk about. Only one of which is Europe 1100. So with that ominous drum beat, let's get into it. So starting off with Europe 1100, the next update is basically done. We're just waiting on Lemmy to finish his next map update. And this will contain everything listed on the planned updates channel on Discord. As well as confirmation just this morning that Lemmy's also going to add Persia to his next update, which is very exciting, and it means I'll be able to add the Abbasid Caliphate and some other very important historical figures and towns in the region. So pretty happy about that. Lemmy's also had a closed beta for a while, and the major change this brings is custom ports. So we now have control to add or remove these to any settlement. So this allowed me to do two things. One is to completely remove the Sami because I can now delete their settlements, and the other is to add ports to the custom seaside towns that I've created. I'm removing the Sami because there were no recorded settlements that far north during this time period, but I am going to keep the troop tree and make them tavern mercenaries for the Nordics and the Baltic states. So if we look at the two settlements we've added ports to, Caesarea and Jatara, these are both fully functioning. So we've got, the ferry service, you can buy ships there, and you can park your fleet there and set sail from it as well. I haven't created that many ferry connections for each of these. So if we look at Jatara, for example, we've only got 2 destinations. That's because in order to create these, I have to actually sail to all these points along the journey, get the coordinates, and then enter them in to the XML files. So it's really time consuming. It wasn't too bad for these ones in Italy, but if we take a look at Caesarea only has one connection, which is to Smyrna on the eastern Anatolian coast. And because of all these islands and things in here, plotting that course was really time consuming. I don't think there's too much of an issue though, because it's not like we'd expect there to be a ferry service between Caesarea and the Fatimid ports. So that's kind of the closest friendly one for them anyway. The other big change, of course, is the addition of Pisa. So I've been wanting to add this in for a while, being such an important town in the region and for the time period. This has a few more connections, as you can see. But yeah, new town, new clan. I've also removed them now as mercenaries. So the next big change is the addition of Armenia. So we can see we've got 2 settlements, and even though they're both castle prefabs, Sis is actually a town. So they have access to their full troop tree. So they start off allied with the Byzantines and the Crusaders, and they'll be at war with the Seljuks. So, just following historical precedent there. So new settlements, we've got Mistras Castle in the Peloponnese with Kalamata as a bound settlement. I've also added Nicaea to northeastern Turkey, and some new bound settlements for Constantinople as well. So great to add, such an important historical city. And then finally, moving over to Central Europe, we've now got the addition of Frankfurt. Lauenburg Castle has moved up from the old position, and we've also added Brandenburg with some bound settlements as well. So this will help fill up some of the empty space in that area. Now, of course, this will mean a bit of a buff for HRE and the Byzantines. So what I've done is dropped the clan tier for most of their clans to tier 1. That should be a pretty significant nerf in terms of manpower. And at the same time, I've also given a buff to each of their neighbours. So England, France, Spain, Hungary and Poland, most of their clans are now tier 5, with the exception of their leading clan. So I'm hoping that'll bring a lot more balance overall. We'll see how it goes. The next thing is buffs to the Cuman and Seljuk horse archers. So I've added some more cavalry. I've moved their melee cavalry to the militia line. And then I've given significant buffs to the noble units, which are all now horse archers. Mainly better armour, better bows, and better arrows. So they're going to be way more deadly than they were before. Unfortunately, with the battle test mod being broken, I'm not sure how much stronger. I really want to compare them in a one-on-one against some Crusader cavalry. But yeah, I'll be able to do that when that mod is fixed. Okay, so the last big thing I'll mention is that Eric and I are working on some changes to mercenaries. And there's two things happening here. One is that we're building out some of the tavern mercenaries into full troop trees. For example, Crusaders are now full tree, only recruitable from taverns. So we can make any unit a mercenary and we can place them in any town based on their culture. So the Crusaders are only recruitable in Western Europe, for example. The second thing is that we're going to replace some of the mercenary clans with bandits. This is because we have more control over their location and who they're hostile with. So the two I've created so far are the assassins. They'll now spawn as a bandit castle hideout on the cliffs above Aleppo, which we're looking at here. And the second, I've actually managed to create a little island off the coast of Valencia, and I've also put a little fortress hideout on top of this one, and these are the Mallorca pirates. So both of these function as normal bandits, so they spawn parties as long as their hideout exists, but they are way stronger than normal bandits, so you don't want to run into them. If you attack their hideout, it's still a normal bandit scene. You go through, kill the boss, and eventually it will respawn. So it's pretty cool. It means we can deploy bandits wherever we want, and they'll always be hostile. And we'll add more of these as we think of appropriate ones to do so. Okay, so that's it for Europe 1100. Now moving on to IHSV, In Hoc Signo Vinces, the mysterious other mod we've been working on. So this is an ambitious project from the authors of Europe 1100, Eric's, the expanded Bannerlord Armory, and Banner Kings, to combine all of these into a single mod. And I'm pleased to say the first version of this is not too far away. Zodiac's been busy creating a bunch of amazing new assets, and the quality of these is way better than vanilla. This new pack is called Orbis Terrae Amarium. Zodiac really loves his Latin names, in case you couldn't tell. And Eric is now busy replacing all of his custom troops with assets strictly from that package. And then when he's done, we will roll all that together as a single mod and a single download, which means we should be able to get it on Steam as well. So that will most likely be the first version of IHSV, a combination of Europe, 1100, Eric's, and the OTA assets. Basil is also working on the Banner Kings integration, and that has been working before some updates, but he's also got a lot on. Don't know when exactly that's going to be ready. But we are keen to get something out soon, so we'll push ahead, and I think we'll have that initial version possibly within the next 2 months. Okay, so the last big bit of news, as you can tell from the title, I have started work on a new mod. For now, let's call it Europe 1700, but I've actually got a better name in mind, which I'll keep under wraps for now. But the premise here is pretty simple. I'm going to take what I've done with Europe 1100 and replicate it for the 18th century. So the idea is to make use of the CA Blood and Smoke mod for the guns and the Napoleonic Warfare items for the armour. And this will all be rolled together as a single package. The basic plan is this. There will be a similar number of cultures, but actually a lot less kingdoms because of the consolidation of things like British Empire, Spanish and the Habsburg empires. The main work's actually going to be on items, removing the vast majority of vanilla items and adding in the stuff that we need. The only gear I have to work with at the moment is the Napoleonic Warfare items, which are not great, but they're also the only thing available, so I'm making them work. The other interesting thing is that European armies are very similar by this point, so there won't be much variety in troop trees. There'll be a little bit, but not much. So we'll take a quick look at a battle, see how this is shaping up. I've got a mix of ranged units, who are my musketeers and riflemen, and then I've got some pikemen and grenadiers as my infantry units, as well as some light, medium, heavy cavalry. So we'll see our ranged units do a volley. See, they're nailing a lot of the enemy cavalry straight away. Everything kind of functions as you'd expect here. You know, the reloading the muskets takes quite a while. This is where the pikes and the grenadiers come in handy. The grenade units, at the moment, they don't seem to be able to both have a gun and a bomb, because if they have a longer range item, like a rifle, they'll use that instead. So at the moment, they're pure infantry. All they have is swords and grenades. But I think it's okay, since we have so many ranged units anyway. We'll get these guys to come up so we can actually have a look at how some of the grenade functionality works. I'm pretty excited about this. I think it's really cool. My enemy caravan has some gun units already, so they're putting up a bit of a fight. We'll get these guys to stop about here. And then we should... Oh, there we go. They've started throwing them. There we go. Yeah, so lots of chaos on the battlefield. I'm pretty excited about this, in case you can't tell. So yeah, look, there's a lot of work to go. I'm about halfway through at the moment, doing the troop trees. I've started the research for the lords and the clans, and I've started work on the items. I'd like to have an alpha version ready within about 2 months. That's what I'm aiming for, but that will be pretty rough and ready. So that's it. Several exciting updates. Hopefully you're as excited about these that I am. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, there's a bunch more info over on the Discord channel. But that's it for now, and yeah, we'll see you next time.